Yeah, hi there. These comments are for 7414, and I am Michael Buckoff, your English 104 instructor here at California State University, San Bernardino. I got your paper right here. Thank you for completing the writing project. Your score here is 63 out of 100, so you're exactly in the same spot that you were in the first paper. So what is it exactly? What could you do in this final project to make your writing stronger? And I think it comes down to let's just focus on the basics right now. You need a thesis. A thesis is a general statement that you make that helps frame your writing project, right? So in your case, you're focusing on explaining Durf's theory, interpreting a hidden message within the cartoon, and then comparing his ideas to a fad that you adopted. You're really doing those three things, right? So when we look at your essay and we look at the first paragraph, at the end of that paragraph you say, it makes it easier for young adults to relate to this type of style, especially because during this time piercings became, or because piercings are very popular, right? But you don't really explain what you're trying to do in this project. So let's contrast your essay with somebody who scored 30 points higher. This student says, I will summarize Durf's theory, explain the meaning of it, and compare his theory with an experience to a fad that I chose. So if you do that, you have that specific 3-point thesis which focuses on the different parts of the writing project. Then it makes it much easier to create your topic sentences. So in your second paragraph, you say, in Durf's cartoon, he introduces a fake booger that hangs from the nose. That's a detail. But we typically don't use details as topic sentences. We need some type of general statement which helps explain the purpose of the whole paragraph, right? So in this other student's, he says here, Back Durf explains his theory in a short comic called The City, published in 1995, that shows the process of how a new fad is made. So because of his topic sentence, I now know the writer is going to explain Durf's theory, right? Because that's the purpose. That's what he put in the topic sentence. So if you can create more sharply focused, I think, thesis and topic sentences, it really helps, I think, to organize your writing more. So your essay did not really cohere very well. Cohere is kind of connecting everything together into one singular type purpose, and your writing doesn't do that. So that's the biggest comment I can give you. The other thing is, when you get into the interpretation area, you talk about what's called a hidden message that you think Durf is trying to communicate. You say, I was able to realize a trend can start anywhere. But what is his hidden message exactly, right? You say the trend started with some random art students. The meaning, it's all about the way trends spread and how they become very manipulating. You say many people feel pressured into following it. So if you started off with that idea in the beginning, instead of saying I realize a trend can start anywhere, you might say, well, after reading the cartoon sequence, I realized Durf is communicating the hidden message of manipulation or media manipulation, right? So then you focus around media manipulation, for example, then you show how and why you think Durf is doing that over a couple of paragraphs, and you probably have a more focused interpretation. And what does that sound like? Let me give you an idea of a student who did that. Look at his paragraph on page 2. He says, in addition to the theory of the stages of fads, Durf has also put a hidden message in his theory, a message discussing peer pressure. The reason Durf went to the trouble of creating a hidden message in his comic is because in 1995, a lot of trends were created and became popular. This caused the people who weren't part of the fad to stand out from the group, thus giving people peer pressure to change themselves to become part of the fad. In Durf's comic, he left images and quotes that reveal his hidden message of peer pressure. His first clue was in the second box of the comic, where it shows a principal who has confiscated a booger. Durf also quotes 30 million high school students blindly follow suit, indicating that in order for students not to be left out, they are forced to change their appearance to match with the others. Durf uses the word blindly to emphasize that the students have already fallen into an endless cycle of adopting a new fad without hesitation. Another hint that Durf has put into the comic is in his third box, the scene from Letterman with Madonna. Right, so then the writer goes on and continues to explain the idea of peer pressure. So he takes two pretty big paragraphs focusing around that idea of peer pressure. And he defends that, and then he gives examples from the text. He gives examples from 1995. He gives examples from Durf's background to help illustrate that idea. Right? So that's an example of creating a really in-depth interpretation on the topic, something that you didn't do. Now, the final concern I have with your essay is the final part of the project. This is where you are comparing a fad or trend that you adopted, and you're explaining whether or not Durf's ideas explain your experience. However, you focused on three. You focused, it looks like, on nose piercings, hashtags, and also Facebook, right? So that you can't, in 3 pages, adequately develop all three of those ideas. I knew you couldn't. That's why I told you guys to focus on just one fad or one trend. So the final part of the project, you tried to go in too many different directions. It didn't give you enough time to really develop the idea. So you want to make sure that you understand, I think, what you're trying to do before you do it. So I think that you really misunderstood this writing project. Unfortunately, it is a 20-point paper. So please, as you're working on this final paper, come by my office. I'm here to help you. I really do. I want to help you. So what you can do when you come by my office is bring a copy, bring an outline of how you want to approach the final writing project. Right? Remember that you can find me in my office Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10:30 to 11:50. You can also find me at 1:20 to 2:30, and any of those times I can help you with your writing. In addition, you can also find me Monday through Friday in the Yasada Center at 8 a.m. Again, your first step is to come with an outline. Let's take a look at how you want to organize your essay. Remember, you need a thesis. This is not, you're not doing this, but you need a thesis which will frame all 4 parts of the project. We can even work on how you can do that. Right? So remember that we are here. Your professors are here to help you. We want you to succeed. All right? Anyway, thank you for doing the writing project. And I look forward to reading your final paper. And I really do want to spend some time where we can work on your project together. So maybe if we can get together maybe 2 or 3 times before the end of the quarter, I'm confident that you can get going in the right direction. And remember that this final paper is a 30-point paper. If you go to Blackboard, your grade right now is 31%. You must try to salvage this grade, right? You need to get credit for the first year composition, and your first step is to start coming by my office on a regular basis and let's start working on your writing. All right? Anyway, thank you very much, and thank you for watching the video.